You're listening to an AppleVis podcast. Hello and welcome. My name is Thomas Donville, also known as Anonymous. In this podcast, I'm going to introduce to you and do a walkthrough of an iOS app called Podcast Guru. It is a free app. It does include an in-app purchase if you decide to subscribe. I will explain a little bit more what you get with the in-app purchase if you decide to do that. Otherwise, baked in without the in-app purchase is a pretty robust, full package podcatcher iOS app you can expect. I have always been an Overcast user for, a long time now, and I absolutely love my Overcast. However, there are some pros and cons with the app itself, and I decided to just dip my toes into the waters and see what this Podcast Guru has to offer. And I'll admit it has some potential to this. I really like how it's set up, the way the layout looks, and it also has its own pros and cons too, which I'll get to at the end of this podcast. Let's just dive into the Podcast Guru, kind of give you an introduction to it and an overview on what you can see, hear, and do with Podcast Guru. I will be curious if this is something that you'd like over your current podcatcher app of choice. Now, before we begin, for those that are brand new to the podcast world and you are unaware of a podcatcher term, podcatcher just simply means that it is an app that allows you to seek, explore, and subscribe to various podcasts that are out there for you to listen to. Okay, with that out of the way, let's dive into the Podcast Guru.
Podcast Guru. Double tap to open.
We're going to do one finger double tap to open up Podcast Guru.
Podcast Guru. Discover. Heading.
And you'll get to the Discover heading there. That's typically the first thing you will land into. And I'm going to introduce you the bottom tabs first. I always like apps that have tabs towards the bottom so I can just kind of go to the area I want to. It does slow things down a little bit. And with the Podcast Guru, there is a little bit more poking around and swiping than you typically would in a typical podcast app. But even with that limitation, they're still pretty robust in terms of what you can get for being free. So, bottom left.
Tab bar. Selected. Discover. Tab. 1 of 4.
So you have 4 items along the bottom. We have the Discover tab, and Summary. Discover allows you to explore and see what is trending and what's popular in terms of podcasts out there. And it's also a page where you can search for various podcasts if you decided to search manually.
My podcasts. Tab. 2 of 4.
My podcasts, that is where all your podcasts that you subscribe to lives. That is where you'll see all the current episodes, the different podcasts you've subscribed to, and various things in there.
Up next. Tab. 3 of 4.
Up next, it's like a queue. So if you have various podcasts you want to listen to, this is where you kind of go to that you have queued up. So you listen to one and you want to listen to these other podcasts. This is where you will find where it's queued up.
Profile. Tab. 4 of 4.
Lastly is the profile. That's more like the settings area. And you can make a variety of changes to the apps. And this is where the in-app purchases lives, and which we'll be diving to in a bit. So we are on the Discover tab now.
Selected. Discover. Tab. 1 of 4.
Which is selected. As always, I like to start at the very top left and swipe to the right and kind of give you an idea where everything is on the screen.
Discover. Heading.
I just touched the top half of the screen with 4-finger tap, and that gets me to the top there. As I swipe to the right here.
More. Button.
The More button is at the top right. That's going to be pretty important as we get into deeper in the Podcast Guru. Lots of things that we are exploring is in that area. The one limitation with the Podcast Guru is that I wish it would take advantage of the voiceover rotor, and that would make things a lot simpler without having to poke and swiping. But you'll end up having to go to the more button quite a bit since it doesn't have the rotor option.
Discover.
Okay, so let's go to the Discover here, and as I swipe to the right,
Search. Search field. Double tap to edit.
Is where you are able to search a podcast manually, and we'll be doing that in a bit here. As I go to the right here,
Selected. Featured. Button. 1 of 3.
Okay, so we have the 4 tabs along the bottom, right? We also have 3 options towards the top here. That is Feature.
Popular. Button. 2 of 3. Browse. Button. 3 of 3.
Popular and Browse. So Feature obviously are podcasts that the Podcast Guru is featuring, that the flavor or the podcast of the month. So you'll see lots of different podcasts in this feature area. So since that feature is selected, as you go to the right here, you'll get to see these featured podcasts of choice.
Rachel Maddow presents Ultra, Flag, Menorah. Rachel Maddow presents Ultra, a 6 MSNBC.
You go to the right.
Crime Junkie, Horseshoe, Illustrations, Sign, Crime Junkie.
These are all the podcasts it's featuring. So those are different types of podcasts.
The Daily, Dateline NBC, Cloudy, Lake, Dateline, We Were 3, Adult, We Were 3, Jock Doc Podcast, Sign, The Jock Doc Podcast, featuring Dr. London Smith.
And at any time, you can double tap on those to get more information about the podcast itself. It gives you the option to subscribe and etc. We'll be doing that in a little bit as I do some more overview and review of this app here. Now let's go back to the 3 items where we had the feature.
Selected, featured, button, 1 of 3.
Let's go to the right here.
Popular, button, 2 of 3.
Tap that.
Selected, popular, 2 of 3.
Now when you go to the right, now you'll see popular podcasts that Podcast Guru is going to give you.
Browse, button, September 23rd, 2022, 9:24 a.m., Episode 3 Charles Davis, Shadow and Smoke. In the aftermath of the poker game, Dalton is stuck with an unwanted new partner and an unexpected new task. Kill someone he knows nothing about. Ellipsis. Written by Thomas Diaz. Produced by Mark Higginbottom and Thomas. Play, button.
And then you get the option to play that particular episode if you wish, which is kind of cool. It shows you not just podcasts, but also episodes that you might be searching for, which is unique.
October 17th, 2022, 12 a.m. Coming to you from my office. It's launch week, the Potty Report. It's officially launch week for Radical Repurposing. And I'm feeling all of the feelings. Tune in to hear all about what's been going on this week and what you can expect.
Okay, so you get the option to listen to that.
Play, button.
And then the option to play. Now, that is the popular area. I don't know how this is based on popular. I don't know if that's based on a Podchaser of how many podcasts is being listened, which one is the most popular. That's a good question, but it is kind of an interesting set of podcasts that they deem as popular. I haven't really found this area to be much of an interest. They would have to change that up a little bit. The Explorer is something unique as well, or I say the feature. So let's go back to the popular tab.
Selected. Popular. Button. 2 of 3.
And let's go to the right.
Browse. Button. 3 of 3.
We have the last item within the Discover tab here is to Discover. Double tap that.
Selected. Browse. 3 of 3.
Now it's broken down by genre. So if you go to the right here.
Arts. Business. Comedy. Education, fiction, games and hobbies, government and organization, health, history, kids and family, music, news and politics.
You get the idea here. So if you are interested in seeking for podcasts in those genre or topics, you can double tap that, and then it will explore into even more podcasts for you to look and explore. Now, let's hop into the next tab. That is located at the bottom left here.
Tab bar. Selected. Discover. Tab. 1 of 4.
Let's go to the right here.
My podcasts. Tab. 2 of 4.
Double tap on My Podcast. Now, this screen is going to show you what you currently subscribe to and show you where all your new shows are. I'm going to go to the top half here, do a 4-finger tap.
My podcasts. Heading.
And we'll go to the right.
More. Button.
There's that more button that I keep seeing. And again, this time it's going to be pretty important. And you're going to be using this a lot within this page itself. So if you go to the right here.
My podcasts. Search. Search field. Selected. Latest. Button. 1 of 4.
Okay, so now you have 4 more options towards the top here. So we have the latest.
Library. Button. 2 of 4. Offline. Button. 3 of 4. Playlists. Button. 4 of 4.
And playlists. Now, the latest episodes, since that is selected, I'm going to go to the right here.
October 19th, 2022, 1:39 a.m. Quick tip. Recall email with undo send and mail on iOS. Apple This podcast. In this podcast, Thomas Domville discusses and demonstrates a new feature in iOS 16 that provides a customizable time window during which you have the opportunity to change your mind after you send an email. 6 meters.
That one is there for you to listen to. So if you double tap that, that'll take you to that episode to see more information. Or if you go to the right,
play button,
you give the option to play. Now, I'll go back left here.
October 19th, 2022, 1:39 a.m. Quick
Let's
tip.
go ahead and do a 1-finger double tap on this.
Quick tip. Recall email with undo send and mail on iOS.
Now I'm going to go to the top left here.
My podcasts. Back button.
Gives you the option to go back. Now go to the right.
Share button.
There's the share option. So if there's an episode you would like to share with someone or to an app, you can do that from here.
Quick tip. Recall email with undo send and mail on iOS.
Name of the episode.
Apple This podcast.
By whom.
Rating. 0.
And we have the rating.
0 ratings. BTN plain normal. Button. Play.
This is the option to go ahead and play the podcast from here. You can double tap that and do a play if you wish.
Download.
Or you give the option to download the episode. So if you want to do this offline, you'll have to do a 1-finger double tap here to download the episode.
6 minutes 6 MB.
Tells you how long it is, which is really nice. I like knowing how long it is.
October 19th, 2022 at 1:39 a.m.
When it was produced and when put out.
In this podcast, Thomas
And then it gives you the show note, so you can read about the notes itself.
Reviews button.
And then you can see reviews on this particular podcast. Now let's go back out of here, top left.
My podcasts. Back button. My
Double
podcast.
tap.
October 19th, 2000.
And I'm going to go to the top right.
More button.
There's that more button. Let's double tap that and you'll see what we have here.
Show all episodes button.
Right now, I only have show new episode. If you want to see all the episodes, otherwise, I only show the non-completed ones. So if you have completed a podcast and you don't want that to show up on your latest area, you want to go in here and tap hide completed episodes. Otherwise, it'll give you the show you all the episodes that you have heard.
Sort oldest first button.
That is pretty self-explanatory. So if you like from oldest to first instead of from newest to first, you double tap that.
Group by podcast button.
You can group this by podcast. This is interesting, as you may get so many different podcasts, but you just want to group them up. So AppleBiz is in its own little group. Seeing in the Dark has its own little group, and The Daily has its own little group, and etc. You want to group them up. You can do it that way as well.
Edit button.
Edit allows you to select a bunch of different podcasts at once and be able to delete them and mark them as read and etc. We'll do that in a moment here.
Dismiss context menu.
And then
button.
we have dismiss. So let's just do the edit so you can see how this works.
Edit button.
Double tap that.
Cancel button.
Now you have the cancel button at the top left.
Cancel button.
If I go towards the center of the screen where the episodes live, or it's go to top right.
Select all button.
You can select everything. That's how you select everything. Or you go to the middle here and select which episodes you want to do something with. For example,
October 19th, 2022.
If I double tap that.
Selected. October 19th, 2000.
You're asking yourself, what can I do with this? Good question. Towards the bottom left here.
Tab bar. Discover. Tab. 1 of 4.
and I go left here,
Check mark rectangle. Button.
you got check mark, and I'll go to the left a little bit more here.
Add to playlist. Button. Download. Button. Share. Button.
You get the same share option.
Download. Button.
You got the download, so if you want to download a whole bunch of them at once, you can select which one you want and download it quickly. That helps you do it in a batch process, so it's a little bit faster than going to each of the show and doing a download.
Add to playlist. Button.
If you like to have a playlist, that could be useful if you're in a mood for just news. You can have a news playlist that only consists of news, and you can have like accessibility playlist that only consists of accessible podcasts, and that way you can go back later to those particular playlists and just listen to those particular episodes.
Check mark rectangle. Button.
And then we have the check mark here. Double tap here.
One episode selected. Mark completed. Button.
This is where you can complete a whole bunch of them. We will be showing you this more as I add a particular podcast. You'll see why this comes in handy. So this is where you get the option to mark them all completed at once.
Mark new. Button.
Mark them as new.
Dismiss context menu.
And then we have the
Button.
option to dismiss.
Selected. October 19th,
Let's go back to
2022.
top left.
1:30. Cancel. Button.
And cancel out of here.
Cancel. My podcasts. Heading.
So that's what that more button does for this particular tab area. So let's go back to the right here.
More. Button. My podcasts. Search. Search. Selected. Latest. Button. Library. Button.
Let's
2
go
of
to the
4.
library section. Double tap.
Selected. Library. 2 of 4.
Library is going to consist of the podcast that you subscribe to. So go to the right here.
Offline. Button. Playlists. Button. Applevis podcast.
So
Logo other. 8th. Applevis.
this is Applevis. This is one of the podcasts I subscribe to. I have 4 of them here that I will show you. So you got Applevis.
Seeing in the dark.
Seeing in the Dark.
Sunglasses. The Journal. Sign. The Journal. Icy Gimlet. Up First. Nipbar. Up First. Nipai Network.
So those are the 4 podcasts that I am currently subscribed to in the podcast guru. Let's go back to Applevis here.
Applevis podcast.
Let's
Logo
go
other.
in here and see what it looks like in here. One finger double tap.
Applevis podcast.
Go to the right.
Applevis podcast. Rating. 5.
So there is a rating of a 5 here. One of the cool thing with a podcast guru is that within the profile settings area, it allows you to integrate a Podchaser account, which I do have that. Podchaser is a service where you can rate and review and socialize. It's kind of a social platform for podcast users called Podchaser. And that allows you to do ratings. Otherwise, you won't be able to rate, but you'll see the ratings that people have given this particular podcast.
1 rating.
So there was one person that have rated Applevis through the Podchaser, so that gives it a 5-star.
Sort order. Button.
Sort order is going to show all the episode below, and it is now from newest to oldest. If you double tap that, it'll go from oldest to newest.
Settings. Button.
We have the various settings. We'll get to you in a moment.
Show reviews. Button.
You can see the reviews that people left for this podcast in particular.
Applevis is the leading online resource for blind and low vision users of Apple products. Our podcast includes demos, guides, interviews, roundtables, and more, all intended to help you get the most from your Apple device.
So here's a description of Applevis.
More. Button.
And then you get the option to do more here, and I'll get to that in a moment as well.
October 19th, 2022, 1:39 a.m. Quick tip. Recall email with undo send and mail on iOS.
So there's the podcast that we heard. Now, the nice thing is you go to the right.
Play. Button.
You get to get the option to play that particular episode. And it's the only one that's going to be listed here, but you can change that. If you go to the top right, there's a more button.
More. Button.
Double tap that, and that allows you to do a variety of different things.
Show all episodes. Button.
This is where you can see all the episode. Otherwise, it's going to show you the ones you have not listened to.
Unsubscribe. Button.
This is where we can go ahead and subscribe and unsubscribe.
Settings. Button.
There's the settings we'll be getting to in a moment.
Edit tags. Button.
So if you would like to give this a different type of tag, it's really kind of like a genre. This is listed as technology. If you feel like it needs to be in a different genre, if you want to change that, you can do so.
Refresh. Button.
This is how you can refresh things manually. So if you want to check to see if there's any new episodes, you go ahead and here, go up to the more and go down to refresh, double tap refresh, and that'll refresh that particular feed and see if there's any new podcasts.
Mark all completed. Button.
Pretty self-explanatory if you want to mark them all completed. This is a nice way of just coming in just without having to selecting them all and whatever. This is another way to select them all.
Edit. Button.
And then you have the option to edit, which you have seen before.
Dismiss context menu.
We'll dismiss
button.
it.
My podcasts. Back button.
All right. Now, as promised, I was going to show you the settings. So go to the right until we get to the settings.
Share. Button. More. Button. Applevis podcast. Applevis podcast. Rating. 5. 1 rating. Sort order. But settings. Button.
All right. Double tap settings here.
Play settings. Heading.
Okay. So we have different options we can do to the podcast.
Skip intro. 0 seconds. Button.
This is cool. So there are certain podcasts out there that might have, for the first 30 seconds of the podcast, there is usually an ad or some sort of a jingle they have, and you can automatically set it to like 30 seconds or whatever, and I'll skip that first 30 seconds and get right into the meat or the core of the podcast. This is really kind of cool.
Episode settings. Heading. Enable new episode notifications. Switch button. On.
This is
Double tap to
entirely
toggle
up to
setting.
you. Do you want to get notification when a new episode comes along? You just double tap that to select that on and off.
Auto download new episodes. Switch button. Off. Double tap to toggle setting.
I like to keep this as stream. Stream means that it is not downloaded on your device. It's just going to stream it, and it's not going to build up the empty spaces on your phone. So if you download a bunch, you're going to take up a lot of spaces. Streaming, you have to have Wi-Fi or cell connection, obviously. But if you prefer to download an episode, you can do that as well. But you can turn that on if you want to automatically download new episodes.
Hide completed. Switch button. On. Double tap to toggle setting.
And this is up to you if you want to see all the episodes that you have already seen and heard, or you can turn them off and show all the complete and only show the newest episodes on the list.
Episode list settings. Heading. Sort order. Sort newest first. Button.
Okay, self-explanatory. And that is it. So we're going to do a 2-finger scrub here. There is no back button. Some places on Podcast Guru, you'll have to do a 2-finger scrub.
Applevis podcast.
And that takes me back to the Applevis podcast itself. Now, let's go to top left here.
My podcasts. Back button. My podcast.
Tap.
Applevis podcast. Logo
And
of it. 8.
This is where we have the page of all the different podcasts I subscribe to, just for you to remember.
Seeing in the dark. The journal.
Et cetera, et cetera. Now, this more button at the top right,
More. Button.
which is always up there, does something different too. So if you double tap that.
Sort alphabetical. Button.
Okay, so if you want to sort this list by alphabet order, which I have now.
Sort by most listened. Button. Sort by newest episode. Button. Refresh. Button.
And then you can do a refresh. That's how you manually refresh all the podcasts at once. You'll have to come in here and do a refresh.
Hide new episodes count. Button. Show filter by genre. Button. Import podcast from RSS. Button. Import podcasts from OPML. Button.
There's a lot in here, isn't there? So if you're thinking about bringing your podcast from a different app, let's just say Overcast, for example, it does allow you to export to OPML, and then you would come in here and import that OPML.
Export podcasts to OPML. Button.
Yep. So if you want to back this up, all the podcasts you subscribe to, you want to export that, and that way you can import it when you get a new phone.
Edit. Button.
We have the edit option
Dismiss context menu.
and
Button.
dismiss.
Applevis podcast.
Okay, so that is all that. Now let's go back left here.
Playlists. But offline. Selected. Library.
Where we had the
Latest. But
latest episode,
selected. Library.
library,
Offline. Button.
And then offline, double tap offline.
Selected. Offline.
This is where all your download podcasts live. So if you do download podcasts and you want to listen to them when you're not on Wi-Fi or cell or whatever reason you may not want to be on those, you can just go right here.
Playlists. Download podcasts to listen offline. Tap the download icon in an episode, and the podcasts will appear on this screen. Then you can listen even when you have no data connection.
There you go. So essentially that's where the download area lives.
Download playlists. Button. 4 of
Playlist,
4.
double tap.
Selected. Playlists. Button. 4 of play. Button.
So you have the option to play your playlist in here.
Playlist history.
Has my playlist history.
6 episodes.
And which consists of 6 different episodes. That is your playlist area. All right. Now, that's pretty much the
Tab bar. Selected. My podcasts. Tab.
My
2 of 4.
podcast area. If you go to the right here,
Up next. Tab. 3 of 4.
that's the next one on the bottom row. I'll double tap that, go to the top.
Up next. Heading. More. Button. Up next. Wednesday, October 19th, 2022. Up first. October 19th, 2022. 13/13M. Quick tip. Recall email with undo send and mail on
So there are different, these are the last 2 podcasts, or I'd say the 2 new podcasts that are up in the queue that I wanted to listen to back to back. And as usual, at the top right
Up next. More. Button.
is your more button,
Edit. Button.
where you are now be able to edit, and I'll show you why you'll have to do that.
Dismiss context menu.
And dismiss.
Button. Edit. Button.
Edit.
Cancel. Button.
All right. One of the reasons why you're going to have to do the edit, and this is one of those features that you will have to do an in-app purchase subscription if you want this service, and that is the auto delete. Once I listen to a show on the up next area, it will remove it if you're part of that subscription. Otherwise, you have to remove it for yourself. So in order to do that, you have to go to edit mode, as I just showed you.
0 selected. Heading. Select all. Button.
Gives you the option to select everything.
0 selected. Wednesday, October 19th, 2022. Up first.
Let's just say I listened to that already. Double tap that.
Selected. Wednesday, October
It's now
19th.
selected. Let's go to the bottom left-hand
Tab bar. Discover. Tab. 1 of 4.
and go to the left.
Delete. Button.
Now you have these following options. Delete
Share. Button.
and share.
Delete. Button.
As I go back right, I want to delete this. Or if you want to reorder the queue, if you tap towards the top where I've had selected already,
Quick tip. Recall email with reorder Wednesday, October 19th, 2022. Up first. October 19th.
gives you the option to reorder things. So that's how you reorder the queue if that interests you. Otherwise, I'm just going to delete that one particular episode.
Tab bar. Delete. Button.
Double tap.
Alert. Delete 1 episode. Cancel. But okay. But
Okay.
quick tip. Recall email with undo send and mail
And
on.
there's the second one.
Up next. Heading.
And then you are now out of the edit mode. So if you want to go back to edit, you can do that. Let's see here. Let's go to the bottom right.
Tab bar. Profile. Tab. 4 of 4.
Our last option of profile. And go to the top here.
Profile. Heading.
Go to the right.
Gear shape. Button. Settings.
There's your settings area. We'll get to that in a moment.
Profile. S5HPWWD.
That is the name that you gave. When you sign into the podcast Guru, I use the Apple credentials for the anonymous, so you are able to use that.
Sign out.
And that's
Button.
how you sign out.
Upgrade to VIP.
Here's the VIP I was telling you about. As promised, double tap this.
Join the VIP user experience.
Show you what this includes and how much it is.
Help support this app and unlock VIP only features.
That makes sense. If you want to help this developer for making it free, and it's nominal if you decide to use this.
$12.99 here.
So for a year, that's not too bad.
Cloud Sync. Never lose your subscriptions again and keep them in sync across multiple devices. Got a new device? Just enable Cloud Sync and you're done. No more messing around with complicated import, export tools.
That is a pretty big one. I'll have to hand it. Overcast already includes that for free, but that is a big one. If that is something that is important to you, to never lose your podcast and what you listen to and what you subscribe through a new device, that might be something important to consider. Otherwise, you'll have to manually export the OPML and then re-import them if you ever were to go to a new phone or lost your device.
Advanced Download Management, or ADM for short, control what new episodes are auto-downloaded and auto-delete them when they're finished. You can use your default rules or define your own custom setup.
That's the big one I was telling you about. If you like the autocomplete and auto-delete, that's also another in-app purchase that you must purchase to get that. So those are two pretty high, really good features to have.
Fine-grained speed control. Adjust the playback speed of any podcast with extreme precision.
If that's something that you're interested in, not really. I mean, you are able to kind of control where you're at, but if you want more details and point to that very second, that might be important to you.
More VIP features are coming. Stay tuned. Terms and conditions. Button. Privacy policy. Button. Already VIP? Tap to restore your purchase. Button.
All right, so if that's something you want to do, I want to let you know that it's there. I'm going to do a two-finger scrub.
Profile.
And then we're back to profile. Let's go back to where we were.
S58, sign out. Upgrade to VIP.
Go to the right.
Feedback.
Yes, you get to do feedback. If you like to leave them a feedback, this is kind of a nice little area if you double tap here.
Need help? Heading. Report a bug. Button. Suggest an improvement. Button. Ask a question. Button.
So if
Help,
that's something
support,
you want to give them ideas and feedback, go ahead and do that.
Cancel. Button.
And I'm going to go
Cancel
to the
help.
bottom. Cancel.
Cancel. Feedback.
Now we're back to the feedback.
Frequently asked questions and help.
If you want FAQs, frequently asked questions, double tap there.
Share app.
And then we have the shared app if you want to share this with somebody that, hey, check this podcast guru. It's pretty cool. I'm going to go to the top here again.
Profile.
And
Heading.
go to the right.
Gear shape. Button. Settings.
Which is the settings. Double tap here.
Gear shape. Profile. Back button.
All right. So let's see what we got here.
Settings. Heading.
As I go to the right.
Visual settings. Heading. Dark mode. Automatic. Button.
I don't have to explain that to you. If you have some residual vision, if you want to put that in a dark mode, double tap that.
Podchaser sign in. Heading.
There's a Podchaser I was telling you about. If you want to sign into it, I have done that, and I will be showing you how this works.
Thomas Domville. Download management. Heading. Update frequency. 2H. Button.
Okay. You're probably asking yourself, well, does it update automatically? Yes, it does. 2 hours is the most frequent you can do it. You can do it up to 4, 6, 8, all the way up to a day. You just double tap that. But 2 hours is the most frequent you can do. So I can't do every 15 minutes or anything like that. 2 hours is the limit or the minimum.
Automatic downloads. Only on Wi-Fi. Button.
Yep. If you had the download as an turned on for those subscription, you want to say, do I want this only to occur on Wi-Fi or cell or both or neither?
Advanced download management. Attachment PNG. File. Switch button. Off. Double tap the toggle setting.
You can't turn this on. This is a VIP that I showed you before, so you're not able to do this.
Enables powerful controls for automated downloading and removal of episodes. Cloud features. Heading. Cloud sync subscriptions. Attachment PNG. File. Switch button. Off.
Again, this is something you can't turn on without until you get a subscription.
General settings. Heading.
Now we get to the general stuff.
Search and discovery region. United States. Button.
Okay, self-explanatory there.
Enable new episode notifications. Switch button. On.
Yep.
Double tap the toggle setting.
That'll be important you keep that on.
Enable autoplay. Switch button. On.
This is something that you need to consider as well. Do you want one episode after another to play automatically? After I saw this, I don't want that to happen, but I can see why some do. If you're busy and you got a queue full of podcasts you want to listen to, that would be the option to turn on and off. So that'd be up to you.
Advanced settings. Heading. Podcast search engine. The podcast index. Button.
This is interesting. You double tap here.
iTunes.
You have two options. You have iTunes
Selected. The podcast index.
and the podcast index. You actually get more podcast choices from this than you do from iTunes. So there are podcasts out there that are not listed in iTunes. So this is a very welcome thing. Unlike other podcast apps out there like Overcast, it uses the iTunes. So you are getting essentially more podcast choices with this app. Two finger scrub out of here.
Podcast search engine. The podcast index. Button.
Okay.
Enable next. Previous track remote commands. Switch button. Off.
That will be up to you if you want to use that.
Info. Heading. About. Button.
And then we get the information about the podcast guru. And that is in this settings area.
Feedback.
And now we're back to the profile area. Now, as promised, what does it look like when I subscribe to something, and then how would I do that? I'm going to show you how to do this. I'm going to go back to the bottom left.
Tab bar. Discover. Tab. 1
Double
of 4.
tap that. And now I'm going to go to the top with 4-finger tap.
Discover. Heading.
We're going to go to the right until we find the search.
Discover. Search. Search field.
Double tap.
Double tap to edit. Search field. Is editing. Character mode.
Now, one cool thing before we do a search, it will show you your search results you've done in the past. So if that's something you're interested in, once you double tap that search, go to the right.
Cancel. Button.
You have the cancel.
On the left.
I looked for the, Mike was telling me about the last podcast on the left. I didn't know the whole name, so I put on the left.
iOS.
I was looking for something that says iOS,
Seeing in the dark.
See in the dark, etc. That is, you can see the history that you've done in the past.
Search field. Is
Top
editing.
left.
Character mode. Insertion point of start.
Going to put in a podcast I do want to subscribe to called Commando.
Cap H. Cap J. Cap K. Kilo. Cap K. I. V. B. N. M. Space. J. K. K. O. N. M. A. B. N. Q. A. S. D. O. Search.
Now I'm going to do a 4-finger tap, see what kind of results we have.
Search field. Is editing. Kim Commando. Character
Kim
mode.
Commando.
Insertion point.
Okay, go to the right.
Clear text. Button. Cancel. Button. Selected. Podcasts. Button. 1 of 2.
Yes, you get the option to search for podcasts
Library. Button. 2
or
of 2.
your library. That's kind of cool. If you have an episode and if you show all the episode and you say, boy, I remember this podcast a long time ago. I can't remember, but I do know somebody of the title. You can do a search within your library. How cool is that?
Kim Commando Daily Tech Update. Kim Commando.
Yep, that's the one I want. And we're going to go ahead and do 1-finger double tap on this one.
Back button.
We have the back button top left. Go to the right.
Share. Button.
And once again, I can share this with my folks.
More. Button.
There's the more button that has all the options that I showed you before when we were looking at AppleVis.
Kim Commando Daily Tech Update. Kim Commando. Rating. 0.
Now, it has 0, and I promise you I would show you that. Go to the right.
0 ratings.
0 rating. Now, I do love this show. What the heck? Let's be the first one here. 1-finger double tap.
Rate podcast.
And it's simple. Really simple. Go to the right.
Rating. 0. Adjustable. Swipe up or down with 1 finger to adjust the value.
And so you get on a base level from 0 to 5 to swipe up.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I really love this one a lot, so I'm going to give it a 5-star. Now go to the right.
Cancel. Button. Rate. Button.
And double tap rate.
Back button.
Now that gets put out there on Podchaser, so if anybody follows me on there, they'll see that I love Kim Commando, and I gave that 5 stars, so go to the right.
Share. But more. But Kim Commando Daily Tech Update. Kim Commando. Rating. 5.
And there's my first rating.
1 rating.
Yay, I'm the first one.
Subscribe. Button.
I am going to subscribe to this in a moment. Now, this is exactly what you saw when we were in AppleVis before.
Sort order. Button. Show reviews. Button.
The show review, now there's no review to show you. I'll have to pick another podcast here that has reviews. in there so you can see what it looks like and how to add a review.
Your daily tech update from America's Digital Pro, Kim Commando. Stay up on the latest tech news with Kim's trusted advice, opinions, and actionable tips, all in 1 minute. Want more from Kim? Try her free Smart Tech newsletters here. More button. October 19th, 2022, 12 p.m. 3 gotchas about unsending text messages. Kim Commando Daily Tech Update. Tech insights from America's Digital Pro. Kim Commando, 1 meter.
All right, so this is all the episodes. Here's something strange here. If you go left,
more button.
This is a separate more button at the top right-hand corner. If you double tap this,
less,
it shows you it says less. And what that does, if you go left here,
show all creators button. Your daily tech update from America's Digital show all creators button.
You get this show all creators. So if that episode supports creators, you'll see that creator. Otherwise, you go to the right,
less button.
Double tap less,
more.
And that's what it means. More and less shows you. So if you go left,
your daily tech update from,
and that is all you see. Now let's go back left.
Show reviews, sort order, subscribe button.
Double tap to subscribe.
Subscribe.
Now you
Kim
subscribe
Commando
to
daily
it.
tech update.
Let's go to
back button.
Top left, back.
Back button. Kim Commando daily tech update. Kim Commando.
Excellent. Now I'll have to cancel out of here.
Clear text. Cancel button.
Double tap.
Discover heading.
Now we're back to the Discover tab. Now, since I subscribed to the Kim Commando, this is what happens here. Bottom left.
Tab selected. Discover my podcasts.
Go to the
tab,
right to my
2 of 4.
podcast. And then I'm going to go to the top here.
My podcasts. Heading.
Now, this is also kind of the con part, and I think it would be easy on the developer to implement if they would want. In Overcast and other podcasts, you are able to say, I only want the last episode or the last 3 episodes, etc. This one will just thinks that you want all the episodes. So unfortunately, if the podcast feed says the last 100, guess what? You're going to get all 100 of those episodes. So if you go to the right here.
More button. My podcasts. Search latest button. 1 of 4.
We'll have to double tap on latest.
Selected. Latest. 1 of 4.
Since we were last left it at the playlist, let's go to the right.
Library. Offline. Playlists. October 19th, 2022, 12 p.m. 3 gotchas about unsending text messages.
And there's the first episode of Kim Commando. Yes, the one with your other podcasts, like the AppleViz one, will be in here still.
Play button. October 19th, 2022, 3 a.m. Has Silicon Valley lost its way? Kim Commando Daily Tech Update. Play. But October 19th, 2022, 1:39 a.m. Quick tip. Recall email with undo sent.
Now you see all these episodes that you have subscribed to. So this is one of the unfortunate things is that now you see.
Play. October 18th, 2022, 12 p.m. Play. But October 18th, 2022, 3 a.m. Iris scanning tech is coming soon.
So you have all these hundreds and hundreds, if not dozens, of things that you have not listened to. I don't want to listen to all of them, so you have the opportunity to do something here. Yes, I could go to the top right.
More button.
And hit more.
Show all episodes button. Sort oldest first. Group by podcast. Edit button.
And go to edit and select all and delete those ones. Or the easiest I can say.
Dismiss context menu. My podcasts.
We are going to go to
heading.
Not the latest, but to the library.
More. Selected. Library. But selected. Library.
Now let's go to the right here.
Offline. Playlists. AppleViz podcast. Kim Commando Daily Tech Update.
Double tap this.
Coupon. Kim Commando Daily Tech Update.
Now go to the top right.
More. Button.
To that more button.
Hide completed. Button. Unsubscribe. Settings. But edit tags. Refresh. Mark all completed. But
mark all as completed.
My podcasts. Back button.
Now we'll go back.
My podcast. AppleViz podcast. Playlists. Offline. Selected. Latest.
Go to the latest.
One of selected.
Go to
latest.
The right.
Library. Offline. Playlists. October 19th, 2022, 1:39 a.m. Quick tip. Recall email with undo send and mail.
Now we're back to the AppleVis portion that I have not listened to. Yes, that's a kind of a workaround. Yes, you lose the last episodes, but this is the quickest way to clean those out. So that's one of those things I just want to show you what happens when you subscribe to something. It just puts everything out. So it's just like, it just dumps it, and it's not going to clear it all out. That's one of the cons. But it's something I can live with, and I think if we all ask the developers to put some limits on there, I think that would make this thing way better. I would like that quite a bit. Otherwise, you can just go back to that library tab and then go to the King Commando, and then you can go through the episode you want to listen to and tap it and play it from there. All right, now one last thing I want to show you.
Play button.
I'm going to go ahead and play this particular podcast.
Stop.
AppleVis podcast.
Podcast Guru. My podcast.
I'm going to show you something. At the bottom of the screen, we have a mini player. So the bottom left.
Tab bar. Discover. Tab.
It's a Discover. If you go left here.
Progress. 1%.
Yes, this is the mini player area. So if you're an Apple Music user, you'll see this quite a bit. That as towards the bottom is a mini player. So if you go left.
AppleVis podcast. Play button.
You can replay it.
Skip back 10. Button.
Skip back.
Quick tip. Recall email with undo send and mail on iOS.
Now, here's a bonus. Double tap this.
Quick tip. Notes button.
You got the notes at the top left. That's the show note for this particular podcast. Show notes contains lots of information, and you'll even have some links in there that you might want to observe and click on if it's something that provides within the podcast.
Rating 0.
So we have the rating options here. If I go to the right.
0 ratings. Quick tip. Recall email with undo send and mail on iOS.
Okay.
AppleVis podcast. Playback progress. 2%. Adjustable.
Yes. You
Swipe
can
up or down with one finger to
adjust this. This is so where you can change this.
12%.
You go up and down.
22%. 12%.
Through the podcast.
0. 07.
So in this case, I'm 7 seconds in through the podcast.
6. 32.
Of 6 minutes and 32 seconds left in the podcast, which is kind of cool.
Playback speed 1.
Here is what we want. If you like to do what I do, I like to boost this up. So if you change the speed.
Playback speed 1.25. Playback speed 1.5.
We'll leave it at 1.5.
Skip back 10. Button.
Self-explanatory.
Play. Button.
Yep.
Skip forward 30.
Yep.
Button. Skip ahead. Button.
If you skip ahead, that means it goes to the next show. So if you have items queued up, that allows you to go to the next.
Sleep timer. Button.
And you get the sleep timer. Yes, this is kind of important. And this is where you find this area. So if you are a sleep person that likes to use the sleep mode, that's where you find it.
Favorite. Button.
You can favorite this episode.
Share. Button.
We have share. If you want to share with your friends.
Settings. Button.
And then we have settings. Settings is exactly what we've seen before. And then we are done. And of course, the magic tap does work. So if I want to resume this with the new speed increase, 2-finger double tap.
Hello and welcome.
And
My name is Thomas.
Podcast is now playing.
In this podcast, I'm going to show
2-finger
you
double tap.
how to undo.
The magic tap works as well. All right, so that's a pretty comprehensive walkthrough of the podcast Guru. Now, you have seen a lot of quirks here and there, and some of the things I mentioned as in some limitations, and I think overall it has potential. I really like this app. I'm just don't know why I do. I love my Overcast. Don't get me wrong. There are some pretty unique benefits with Overcast, such as the iCloud syncing, which is kind of a big one to me, but not a deal breaker for me, really. But I do like the simplicity. When Overcast, I just double tap that and it shows me all my new show right there. But I have to say the playlist on Overcast is a little clunky. This is a little bit more swiping and poking. It does offer more podcasts to choose from and to search than, say, like Overcast. And yes, it even does more with the Apple Podcast and etc. It just seems a little smoother, nice and more organized. Makes more sense. I love the tabs along the bottom and towards the top, so I know where everything goes. I do not like being able to hit the more button a lot to be able to do the simplicity things. And that's what I mentioned. If the developer can implement the rotor gestures where I can just go to like a podcast, swipe up, I can just subscribe or just show this or whatever. And that would be much easier. So I can get the more option within the rotor area. That would be a major plus. If it did that, it would be a done deal. I would go to Podcast Guru. I'm still on the fence on this. I would love to hear what you think of Podcast Guru and if it's enough for you to jump ship and to go with. If not, why? And if so, I would like to hear what podcasts you had used before as well. All right, well, that's going to do. And this podcast is for Podcast Guru. Once again, it's an iOS app. It's free with an in-app purchase you can find within your iOS app store. My name is Thomas Donville, also known as Nanomouse. Until next time, bye-bye.
This AppleVis podcast has been brought to you by the community of applevis.com. For the latest in resources and tips and tricks to get you the best experience from your Apple device, visit www.applevis.com.